Hello, Mike here from Mike Overlanding. Thanks for watching. This is one in a series of videos documenting my trip from Minnesota to Moab, Utah. In this video, I focus on the camping aspects. My first night is spent in the Rocky Mountains, and the other 4 nights are in a Bureau of Land Management, BLM area, just outside of Moab. Oh, here, Mike here from Mike Overlanding. It's Saturday, March 6th, 2020, and I am in Idaho Springs, Colorado, and I just set up camp. It's obviously dark out. I hope this comes out, but I'm about to head into SAC. Here's the camera case, my cell phone, and I got an iPad. Got good reception up here. My little portable lantern, and here's my kit that I set up where I've got wool socks and sweatshirt and long underwear and a nice winter hat. And I'm gonna hop up here. I've deployed the tent and the rooftop tent, and she's good to go. It's about 40 degrees. I left Minnesota this morning at about 7 o'clock. And I got here, I think about 7 o'clock, different time zone. It was about a 12-hour drive here. I left Minnesota at 27 degrees, and it hit 71 degrees for most of the trip, and now it's 40 degrees and dropping. I wrote some stats down here. I went 830 miles, 12 hours. I'm at 8,174 feet, and it's about 40 degrees right now. Okay, I'm not sure how good this is going to come out. Again, here I am. It's a nice starry night. I can see the stars, and I'm on the side of a mountain just above Idaho Springs, and it's Saturday night, so I can hear all kinds of music from establishments down the mountain here. Jeep has some neat features, and this tells me my exact longitude and latitude, and then I'm at 8,176 feet. This is my little trip tick here. I traveled 830 miles, just over 12 hours, to get here from Minnesota to Idaho Springs, Colorado. Here's a quick look of inside the rooftop tent. Got a double sleeping bag. It's a lighter summer one, and that's why I brought the extra clothes. Good morning. It's Sunday, March 7th, 2021, and it's I'm here in the Rocky Mountains near Idaho Springs, which is the village or whatever just down this side of this mountain. It's been an interesting night. First of all, about 10 o'clock at night, I hear somebody sound like they're dragging something behind them coming up the trail, and I'll show you that trail in a little bit. I'm like, what in the heck is going on here? So I unzipped the flap when the noise got right out in front of my Jeep, and it was some guy, long dark beard, young guy, pulling a cart with all his stuff in it. And so I started talking to him. Sounded like a real nice guy. I'm wondering if he was homeless. He says he lives up here. And I says, really? I says, year round? Like in the wintertime? He goes, yeah, it's here all winter. He goes, if the animals can do it, I figure I can do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he says, the only thing I worry about is the cats. And I says, the cats? He goes, yeah, the cougars. There's 3 of them. And I went, good to know. Of course, everybody knows there's mountain lions in the Rocky Mountains, but he seems to think that there are 3 around here, which they're kind of a solitary animal, so I would be surprised that there are 3, but he's a local, who knows, whatever, but he's survived out here, so I wasn't really worried about it, but it was an interesting thing to know. And then I think there were about 3 cars throughout the night came by looking for a place to camp for the night, and they seemed to go to the top of the hill or mountain or whatever is up there. I haven't gone up that far.
Didn't need to, and I don't think I will. But they went up there, and about 20 minutes later, they came back down, except for one came back down in the middle of the night. So I'm not sure what was up with that. It's about 37 degrees out. What else happened last night on my interesting night? Oh, I think about 4 or 5 times I was visited by some critters down below, walking all over my Jeep Gladiator. I think they were raccoons. Never saw them. The first few times, of course, they woke me up each time, and you can hear them pitter-pattering and walking around and doing stuff. I didn't pay any attention to it because I've got a metal tonneau cover, and all my stuff is locked up in there, my food and all my gear. So I didn't think they could wreck anything. So then about the fourth time, I just tired of them waking me up because they would realize that they can't get in, and then they would leave, but then they would come back an hour later or whenever. So I tried to scare them away. I just roared at them, and they left. And I think it was the fifth time they came back. I'm like, oh, great. And of course, your mind starts playing tricks on you. You're like, did they get in there somehow? Did I leave the tailgate open and they crawled in there? Now, I don't have just food laying around. They're in plastic containers and stuff, but they could eat through those. But they can make a huge mess. So I'm sorry, my camera's tilting here. I've got this perilously there. So I went, of course, your mind starts working on you. So like, I better double check. And so I opened the flap while they were down there, and they must have left because I couldn't see them. Yes, the tailgate was closed, so they didn't get in there, and I could see a footprint or two on the top of my metal tonneau cover. So, which is why I got a metal tonneau cover, because I don't want critters getting in there, and I don't want people getting in there and taking my stuff or getting into my food. So this is morning of day 2. I believe I'm about 6 hours away from Moab, which is my destination. So I'm going to probably pack her up here soon and have a little breakfast quick and head into town. I'll top her off with gas and go wash up some more in the bathroom at the gas station and continue on the journey. Okay, here's a shot of the fridge. And today's breakfast, it's going to be an orange. And I already took these out, but I've got some eggs. I'm going to have 2 hard-boiled eggs. And here's some of the other stuff that I took out to get the eggs out. Here's the camp in the morning. Packing her up. Gonna head out. The sooner I leave, the sooner I get there. Oh, and the temperature is 34 degrees. I said 37 earlier, but I guess the weather app took a little bit to catch up to it. Okay, here's the remnants of my breakfast. I did forget to mention I've got water and I've got coffee, but I'm going to get that in town instead of making it. I was too lazy to get the salt and pepper for the eggs. I do have Pop-Tarts, and I'm going to eat them later on the way when I get hungry. But as always, you pack out what you pack in. So I'll go throw this out somewhere else and not leave orange peels and egg shells laying around. And I don't know if you can see, I'm going to try this. But one of the neat things, this lens works really good. You can scan the area around you, and if you see a couple eyes looking back at you, then you know you got a critter. You just hope it is a friendly critter. But that's the trail going up further, which I have not explored and will not. And here's the trail going down. And hopefully you can see, here's where I am. Well, at least through my viewfinder, this looks like it's picking up some pretty good light. So that's where I'm heading down. You can see some of the lights of the city in the morning down there. And, I want to show you this over here. These tracks, they're old, but you can't help but wonder what that was. A dog? A cat of some sort? I don't know. It's old and they've melted, so they're out of proportion. But that one right there has my curiosity.
Here's a shot of the moon coming over the mountain as I was leaving.
Here's my camp. And we have some other campers over here. The main road to go to Moab.
This is the first time I've ever been to BLM land or camped on BLM land, and it's truly a wonderful experience. Everybody is far away. You're in dispersed camping. There's fire rings. They have places, if you've got a large group, you can put multiple cars with multiple fire rings and places to park and kind of group you together if you like.
This is going to be lunch. I've got a banana, which probably was frozen overnight. It'll be interesting to see how that is. Beef pastrami, mayonnaise, jalapenos. Oh, this is jalapeno and habanero jack cheese, and some baby spinach, and my glass of water, cup of water. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy and have a nice meal. Neat little cactus here. BLM land is shared by all. Here's cattle tracks heading off that way. And if you look where they came from, over there is a blue feed. I'll go show you that later. More evidence of the cattle. And even fresher. Looks like stuff in here. I wonder if I should be expecting cattle soon. Okay, the cows did know where to come. Another thing neat is this green rock. Some ice-capped mountains in the background. I think these are to the east.
This is a neat gadget. You pump it up. I've got water in here from home. You pump it up and wash your hands, do dishes with it, which is I will be doing later on. Running out of daylight, so I'm trying to accelerate the fire here so I have more coals, and then I can put the food on it. This bellows is great. It's a great tool. You don't breathe in the smoke, and you can keep your face away and you don't get too hot, and you can pinpoint where you want it to go, so it's a great tool. Because I really need coals for my dinner.
And here we got dinner cooking. There's two nice fillets, bacon wrapped, and a foil wrap in there. It's about 7 o'clock at night, and you can hear my food sizzling and cooking real good. And it's dark out now. I don't know how much we can see, but that's... Here is camp, waiting for dinner to cook. Dinner's sounding really good. My lantern on low. Today I needed a hydrate. I had a lot of water, which I needed. Then I relaxed with some Amber Alt Style Ale. And now I'm having Black Box Merlot with my steak and potatoes and such as soon as it's done. Okay, folks, full disclosure, like I said before, this is an experiment. Here's the moment of truth. This has been cooking on there for 45 minutes. I'm going to open it up and just see how she looks. Oh, good steam coming out of there. Let me, oh, potatoes nice and soft. I did good. This tastes delicious. Onions, potatoes. Haven't hit a jalapeno yet, but some spicy butter, or not spicy, but some kind of... I did it. And now it's time to take the steaks off. I had to cut each of them in half just because when I cut into them, neither was... there was some red inside and a lot of red, and I didn't like it, so they look delicious. Yum. All right, before I sit down and eat, I'm going to cut into this and see how they taste. Very good. It's Monday morning, the start of day 3. Last night was a good night. Before I went to bed, I looked at the weather forecast, and the winds were going to die down to like 4 to 5 miles per hour. I think yesterday they were up to 12, and so I knew I could leave the awning out, and I wanted to leave it out because while I put everything else away so critters don't get it, but I left the chair and the table out. I don't want to wake up in the morning and sit in a wet chair, because at night in many parts of the country where I'm from, when the dew settles, you end up with a wet chair. So I left the awning out, and the forecast today was to be high winds, I think up to 27 miles an hour. So the first thing I did when I got up was put the awning away and put the tent away. So and we just missed it perfect. The winds were kicking up here fierce. And I got sand on top of these things. I had my, you probably can't see them, but I had my containers open here because I was making breakfast and cleaning up and stuff. And I had to close them up, but yeah, it was like a dust storm here. But all of a sudden now it died. So that's good. These shower pouch things are great. Highly recommend them. From head to toe, they're very wet, and just kind of give yourself a little bath, if you will, and put some clean clothes on. Feel real good about that. Breakfast this morning, made some coffee. I had some hard-boiled eggs. I had an orange, and I'm going to have a couple biscotti with my coffee, and I'm going to read the paper. And after I clean up here, I still have cleaning up from last night's dinner. Last night's dinner took longer than I expected, and it was dark out, and so I cleaned up what I could, and then I got some miscellaneous stuff to clean up, so I'm going to do that. Today's plan is to go into Moab. I have never been to Moab, and just kind of look around, check it out. There's some places in there that will give directions about some good places to go wheeling, and that's what I think I'm going to do today. I think I'm going to go try to do some trails, start off with some easy or moderate trails. Again, this is not a rock crawler. It's got a longer bed, but I can do some pretty good trails with it, I think. I'm going to also explore further in here. I see cars going by my little road here and people camping back there. I want to check that out. I saw some dune buggies going back in there and motorcycles, so I want to check that out. I'm purposely delaying going to Arches National Park, which is something I want to see and will see, but my thought is that Monday you've got everybody is here on the weekend from vacation. They're starting their vacation. What's the first thing they want to do? They want to go to Arches, so maybe it won't be as crowded if I wait till Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm going to clean up camp here, clean up some dishes, relax, drink my coffee, have my biscotti, and read the newspaper, and then head into Moab. Doing some dishes here. This little gadget comes in handy. I thought I'd do this over the fire so it didn't leave a mark for other people. This is the coffee, so I'm just going to rinse this out. The other dishes I'm washing in soap, and then I'll come over here and rinse them out. I'm going to check the tire pressure for all 4 of my tires. When I left Minnesota 3 days ago, I had made sure that each of the tires was at 37 psi, and of course I left Minnesota and it was below freezing. And it was interesting that the temperature got up to 71 degrees, and I was driving all day, 12 hours, and the air pressure got up to about 45 psi in my tires, so higher than I wanted. And I'm gonna go do some wheeling, so it's not a real technical course, it's just a dirt road, but I don't want to be really high. So last night I dropped some air pressure down, and I just checked all the 4 tires, and they're at 35.5 psi right now. So I'm happy with that. I know it's 2.5 or 1.5 psi below what they're supposed to be, but they'll warm up here, and I'm gonna be, doing more off-road than any high-speed driving 60 or 80 miles an hour. So I'm happy with that, and hopefully I have a little better ride. Okay, I'm puzzled by this sign, because down below here, the way I just came from, no Jeep was supposed to go. Oh, I did not know that. I wouldn't have gone, but see that, folks? The Jeep Gladiator, fully loaded with a bed rack, rooftop tent, refrigerator and everything, did it. And I didn't mean to, though. It's Monday, approaching noon, and I found another really neat place to camp. Considering coming back here in the evening, pretty cool. We got 2 fire rings. Although the challenge will be maybe the previous occupants may be coming back. Sorry about the wind, but down there is where I camped last night. Right down there. Well, it's the end of the day on Monday. Had a great day. Explored the area where I camped at, and then I went into town to the information center and got some information. Then went on a wonderful trip along the canyon there, along the Colorado River. Unbelievable. Of course, I'll show you those pictures in a few minutes here. So I'm rushing because it's getting late, and I set up camp just about a mile from where I was last night, just further in, and I got a nice rip-roaring fire going. It was hard to start because it was so windy up here, but once I got it going, it's good to go. But I want to get some coals, and I'm going to have some sausages for dinner. Here is the view from my new campsite. So this little guy caught my eye. When I was coming over here to check out the fire ring.
I was standing on top of this hill overlooking my campsite and kind of getting a panoramic view when I heard a couple of motorcycles approaching. Unfortunately, I was initially taking still photos and I didn't have the microphone on, so you can't hear the engines as they approach and go by.
This is Monday night's dinner. I've got a couple of sausages and I got a bun, another one on standby to toast, and that will be dinner. It's Tuesday morning, a nice cool morning. A little quick walk around the camp as I just set it up. Here's another shot of the camp, Tuesday night. Just getting her set up. Got a nice rock wall on one side. Couldn't find anything closer to the mountains or the big hills. So I'm hoping this big rock I'm standing on is gonna keep some of the wind down. It's windy tonight and it's supposed to rain soon, so I don't have time to get a fire going. I set up camp in a different campsite in the same BLM area. Today I'm having bacon cheddar cheeseburger, 2 of them. My favorite, big onions and some ketchup. And having a beer. And before the rain gets here, I'm gonna set up camp, my tent namely, and settle in. Had a busy day today going through the national park arches, and I selected an entirely different campsite again. Just like to try them all out, trying to get away from the wind to some degree and try out different campsites. And this is where I ended up, right here. It's Wednesday morning, March 10th. Still winter. I'm in Moab at the Bureau of Land Management camping area. And it was a windy night last night, a cold night. I mean, I was colder when I was in the Rocky Mountains when it got down to like 27, but you know, when it got down to the low 40s, but it was real windy. This tent is awesome in the wind. One of the features of it, and one of the reasons why I bought this tent, was that there's 4 strut poles in here and they pull the tent up tight, so in high winds you don't get the flapping of tents. So that was really, really sweet. Nice to have that. The big pain in the neck is this thing makes noise all night long. Now, I was able to tune it out, but I'm gonna find a way to strap this up and just keep this from flapping in the future. This is great if you need to, when you close the tent down, you need to pull this down, but I don't need to do that. I've got a pickup and I can stand here, and it's easier for me to actually grab this and pull it down than to try to use this. So I'm gonna find a way eventually to strap this up so it doesn't flap so much or make noise all night. But otherwise, it's a beautiful day. Just getting set up here in the morning, and it's about time I recharge this flashlight that comes with the tent. It's an awesome light, so I'm gonna get that thing topped off. My cell phone, and of course I've always had the fridge going, but this battery is great. Just keeps everything plugging away. Of disturbing news this morning was that I keep trash in here and then I throw it out the next day, and I found it looked like something ate through this. And I come over here, which is where I had it, locked in the truck bed. And I don't know if you could see it, but it's like little mouse droppings. So hopefully he hasn't decided to live here, but sorry for the wind. I'm gonna have to take everything out of here and clean everything up this morning, which I take everything out anyways to get some coffee and some hot meal this morning. Breakfast for today is some hot coffee, a banana, and some instant oatmeal, nice and warm. Could use it on a day like today. Get this coffee going here. Excellent. As far as our mouse friend goes, I really keep my food, my dry food, in only two places. And I've gone through the Jeep and I don't see any more signs of the mouse. Hauled almost everything out. But in this container is my coffee and some instant soups and some oatmeal. So there's some food in there. And then this one is really where I kept most of my dry food. And of course, the refrigerator. And this is kind of cooking utensils, so there's really no food in there. So looks like I'm pretty good to go here. I think the mouse is not going to be with me, hopefully. I'm heading out now. Another correction on the weather. It seems like where I get my data from is Weather Underground or other sources, and it looks like the software is updated with the current, but it hasn't. It is currently 26 degrees out, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and it got down as low as 23 degrees last night. So no wonder it was so darn cold, especially with the wind. So but I dressed for it. It's winter. Today, well, yesterday I did arches, and that was great. I was there from 8 o'clock till about 4 o'clock, and I went on, I think I went on every single trail, hiked. It was just a wonderful experience. The day before that, I did the Potash Trail. That was all in the Jeep on that one, and the switchbacks and the views, it was just great. Today, my plan is to go to the Chicken Corners Trail. So I'll take the Chicken Corners Trail, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna take a leisurely trip heading back home. I had aired down my tires to about 30 PSI, doing some moderate off-road. Now I'm gonna bring it back up to 37. Of course, it was 32 when I pulled in last night, 32 PSI, and because it's so cold, it's now 26.5 PSI. It's amazing how that cold changes the volume of the tires. 31 PSI, and climbing. 33, 35 and a half, 36. I'm gonna go a pound under because it's gonna get warmer today, and now I'm gonna do this with all 4 tires. The reason I'm gonna head home, I think, is the weather forecast. There's snow and a lot of precipitation and wind, and I've seen quite a bit. I've got a ton of footage
I've had a wonderful time, and it's basically the weather. The weather's going to get really, really nasty. I could tough it out, but why? Thank you for watching Mike Overlanding. I hope you enjoyed the video. I have several other videos regarding my trip to Moab. Some are off-roading and some are visiting some of the national parks and seeing some of the awesome sights.